morning and welcome. This is the 4th annual Sustainability Symposium, now called the Tristate Sustainability Symposium. This is the 2nd year that DVGBC, the Delaware Valley Green Building Council, has been honored to host the event. My name is Janet Milkman. I'm the Executive Director of the Delaware Valley Green Building Council. A big welcome to those of you who are here for the first time, and to those of you who were here last year and gave us evaluations. I want you to know that we took them very seriously. Most of you had complaints about the weather. We had our General Counsel negotiate with Mother Nature. There will be no rain today. We also have extended the day to give you more time for networking, visiting the vendor table, talking with the panelists. And I just want to take 5 minutes before our terrific keynote to say a few words about DVGBC, to thank our supporters, and to introduce our next speaker. So first of all, a huge thank you to our Parliament sponsors. They are ABM, Brandywine Realty Trust, EcoSave Automation, Land Services USA, Waste Management, and Expedex, as well as our Refreshment and Great Horned Owl and Talent sponsors. They're all listed in the front cover of your program. If you don't have a program, please pick one up. There's a lot of great information in there, and it'll really help you get through the day today. So I also want to thank Brad Molotsky and Chantel Hull from Brandywine, and Lori Braunstein and Alex Yard from DVGBC. They really took on this event as a second job for the last couple of months, and it's a labor of love and an enormous effort, so please give them a hand. I want to thank the DVGBC staff as well. If you're in the room, maybe you could stand up. Heather Blakesley, Holly Shields, Lizzie Friesen, Megan Sloopmaker, if you're here. And as was the case last year, we could not have had a better partner than Temple University, and I want to specifically thank Kathleen Grady and her folks. It's really an amazing partnership, and we feel very lucky to be able to work with Temple. A few words about DVGBC. Our mission is to promote green building practices to improve the environmental and human health in our communities. And we focus our work on buildings because there's really no more efficient place to work if you want to have a big impact in reducing environmental issues. Buildings are the single biggest contributor to energy use, to greenhouse gas emissions. The construction of operation of buildings is the single biggest contributor to waste in our country. So building and operating our buildings better is critical. And the way we work is that we connect innovators in the industry. We work at the intersection of business and sustainability. We educate the next generation through our Green Schools work, and we deliver the expertise of our members to public decision makers to help make the system work better to promote green practices throughout. So this conference goes beyond green building, and we're so proud to bring together the whole spectrum of the sustainability industry and movement. We have students here, we have the business community here, we have higher education, we have nonprofits, we have government, and we are all here to learn and connect on a broad set of sustainability issues. We are starting with some really wonderful speakers this morning. They were chosen both for their ability to inspire you and for their willingness to stick to time limits. So after we hear from Our speaker, Yalmaz Siddiqui, we're going to have a short video presentation. Then please stay in your seats. I'm going to come up and give you some logistics information for the day, and then we're going to send you out on your way. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our host from Temple University, James Creedon, who is the Senior Vice President for Construction Facilities and Operations. I think when I read his, what he actually does in his job, the only thing that he doesn't do at Temple is academics. I think everything else in the university falls under his purview. He's also run the Pennsylvania Department of General Services, an incredibly talented and highly competent person we're very lucky to have at Temple here in Philadelphia. Please welcome and thank James Creedon.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Temple. I heard that the speakers are divided in two groups, one to inspire and one who said they'll stay to time. I think I'm the one staying to time. I'm not sure, but I'll try to do a little inspiration for you as well. First of all, welcome back. I'm glad we brought in the warm weather for today's event. I looked down at my thermometer in the car driving in this morning, and it said 31, and this is wonderful. We've got a heat wave going in the Delaware Valley, so that's good news for today. But certainly welcome to Temple, and I also want to thank Brandywine Realty Trust and the DVGBC for coming back for a second year to have this event at the beautiful Temple Performing Arts Center. This building is really one of the crown jewels here at the university, a real tribute to the history of the university, the fact that you can take a facility that was in pretty bad condition and get serious about renovating it and making it a very special place. I encourage you, people come here for events like this. I encourage you to come back, follow the website for this facility, come back and see the incredibly talented Temple students, whether it's the orchestra, the jazz band, the dance department, and come and see an event here. It is absolutely amazing to see a performance here. So put on your bookmarks for the website and stop back again besides on a business day. It really is a very, very special place here in North Philadelphia. On behalf of Dr. Neil Theobald and the entire Temple team, I welcome you here to the university today. I do want to point out I don't have responsibility for money or athletics either. So just to be clarified as far as responsibilities here at the university. And one other person I do want to mention, and I think Janet already mentioned, is Kathleen Grady. I didn't spot her here. I think she's probably nervously waiting for me in the lobby, and I snuck by her. But Kathleen and her entire team from our sustainability operation are really an important part of my team, an important part of the Temple team in not only events like this, but just on the day-to-day making sure that we're doing things right here at Temple. A couple of real highlights of what we've done since you've been here last. We now have been very successful in getting 5 of our buildings LEED certified. Very proud to say that our new residence hall, Morgan Hall, the 27-story little old-fashioned residence hall down the street is LEED Gold. Our architecture building is LEED Silver, and we even have our new parking garage achieved LEED Silver. And we've got a lot more underway. Our science building, I noticed Pete D'Antonio from Turner is here. He's one of the real key guys in making that project happen for us. And also our new library. We've challenged the architectural team there to make sure we achieve LEED Silver. One other quick thing I really want to point out we're extremely proud about is that we were able this year to install some solar energy here at the university. On top of our football operations building, we installed a 63 kilowatt solar array. And we're also, and Kathleen said I had to tell you this, we're very proud to be the only college or university in the city of Philadelphia with a rooftop solar array, and the first. And I have to tell you, too, that it really was driven by the students here at Temple to do that solar array. And so much of what we do in sustainability and green building and our green operations here is driven and inspired by our students. They encourage us, they poke us a little bit, They annoy us a little bit. They give us ideas to make sure that we're doing things right here on campus as far as green energy, as far as green operations. And, while at times it's, you can go through your day and say, okay, we don't need another little bit of advice from someone. The advice we get from our students, or particularly those involved in the sustainability effort here at Temple, is invaluable. And we found that the more we open our ears and listen to them and listen to their ideas, we end up with an awful lot of really good projects and a lot of really good concepts. So we can't do it without our students here, particularly in this effort. And speaking of students, one last thank you. We have student volunteers here today from Carver High School. I think there's some of them in the back. I can see them. They are responsible for today to making sure this event is zero waste. So I want to thank those students who... Well, thank those students who came in today to help us out and achieve that goal. We recently did it at a basketball game as well, one of our events at the Leah Corr Center. So thank you very much for being here today. Enjoy your day at Temple. As I said, we're in beautiful, warm weather out there. If you get a chance, walk around, see what we're doing. We still have a little bit of snow on the ground. I'm glad you're back. Hope to see you again here next year. Thanks for being here. Thanks.
That's pretty bright. Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Molotsky, and welcome to TPAC. You can't see it, but as I look out, I see this, kind of awe-inspiring window, which is a little bit of what I look out at you. To me, this is a little bit about 4 years ago, over a couple of beers, thinking about, would people be interested in sitting down, learning, and convening a conversation around things that were of interest to us around that kind of drinking table bar? And I look out now and I see kind of the audience and I see the light, and it is frankly thrilling and inspiring and pretty amazing that from 4 years ago, 400 people on a rainy kind of snowy day, to over 845 people pre-registered for today and about another 45, 55 walk-ups. And so we're kind of at a 900 number, and that is extremely gratifying and thrilling, and I just thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and be a part of what this has become. To echo some of the earlier comments on thank yous, I also want to thank the DVGBC, the Delaware Valley Green Building Council staff. They've done just an extraordinary effort at putting this whole thing together, from the littlest thing to the biggest thing. Both Alex and Lizzie and Janet and Heather, thank you from the bottom of my heart. To Temple, as mentioned earlier, Kathleen, we couldn't have picked a better partner to work with. Easy, flexible, fun, and can do. To my partner in crime and my green conscience, Lori, thanks for your patience, guidance, and for being so kind. To my everyday partner at work, Chantel, who with a smile says, whatever goofy idea I come up with, sure, we can do that. Let's make it happen. So thank you. To Ellen, my wife, who is somewhere out there, for putting up with all the shenanigans over the last 24 years. Thanks for that. Janet already thanked the sponsors, but seriously, without the sponsors, this day doesn't happen. It's your coin of the realm that you're willing to invest with us that allows this kind of thing to happen. So thank you. Please make sure to go and check out their booths during the day. Talk to them. They want to intersect with you, so please make sure that that occurs. And a big hearty thank you to the speakers and moderators. Most are friends, people that we've met along the way who have become and are experts in their own field. They come here on their own time to talk with us and to talk to you. As I said, they are experts. They have flown in from San Francisco, from LA, from London, Charlotte. Some have trained in from New York and from DC, and a bunch of kind of leading local folks. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking the time to come and make this day that much more special for me and for the people that are attending. So why sustainability and why Philadelphia? Again, people are defining it a little bit differently. So what is sustainability is kind of abusing the eye of the beholder. But personally, it's about how we can leave the place a little bit better than how we found it. Pretty simple idea with kind of broad ramifications. So when we buy things, when we build things, when we bring stuff into our home or into our work, can we think a little bit better, a little bit broader about what is it that the material is and where it's going to go and what are we going to do with it after we're done with it? As you most likely know, population of the United States, about 330 million people. So we represent 5% of the world's population, yet we consume 25% of the world's energy. Something probably a little bit off there. Kind of why Philadelphia? Why are we here in Philadelphia and in the region? Why is this relevant for us? Started a bit with a bunch of people around a table thinking about the idea of, can we do stuff in a better, more efficient way? The Mayor Nutter, picked up on that in his initial stump speech when he was asked a question from an audience member. And that became kind of one of his planks 6-7 years ago of running. Helped create a program called Greenworks, which you may be familiar with. Two folks in the audience were instrumental in putting that together. Lori Ackman is somewhere out there, and Mark Allen Hughes. Helped put that program together, which was then picked up by Catherine Grajewski and Alex Dews from the Mayor's Office of Sustainability, and have really taken that program and made it a model for the United States in and around. So we do live in one of the greenest cities in the country. Not the greenest, we're working on getting there. But they benchmark quarterly what's going on, and they publish the results, which is pretty stunning. That also led to Howard Newkirk, which is our head of our water department's Clean Water Green Cities program, which is, again, an international model for how do you green infrastructure in a built environment. Why else in Philly? The Energy Efficiency Building Hub down at the Navy Yard. 10,000 employees they just surpassed this year, but a think tank with our tax dollars, $128 million, being used to think about and deploy not new stuff, but existing stuff that's on the shelf to reduce consumption of energy in the built environment by 50%, showing people that it can be done through behavior change and existing technology. Philadelphia, a summer and a half ago, 2012, became one of 9 cities to enact energy disclosure mandates. So I'm not a big fan of being told what to do. So that's my wife. But sometimes that happens. 9 cities, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, DC, Austin, San Francisco, Seattle, Minneapolis, and Chicago all have mandatory energy benchmarking laws, which mean that in those cities, buildings over 50,000 square feet must disclose what they're consuming to allow for a more informed, in theory, consumer base of tenants as to where they want to go and how they're going to consume energy. That is happening here now. We're benchmarking now, and we're about to disclose that information relatively soon. Alex and Catherine and their teams working pretty hard there. Energy Star, again, a placeholder for energy efficiency. Gene Lupinacci, who runs that program nationally, is here as one of our moderators. 276,000 plus buildings in the United States benchmarking their use, representing over 40% of the built environment, benchmarking, paying attention to, and looking to reduce consumption of energy. LEED, as you heard, kind of leadership in energy and environmental design, the standard for the U.S. Green Building Council. One of the U.S. World Green Building Council chair people right in front here, thank you for coming, Kevin, here to talk about that as a standard. 135 countries using it, over 1.5 million square feet being certified a day, every day, and a lot of that is going on the East Coast, in particular in Philadelphia. And as most of you were aware, Greenville was hosted here. Thank you, Heather, and all the good work that went into bringing the circus to town. 25, 26, 27, depending on who you talk to, 1,000 people showed up to talk about that which we're talking about today. How can we do stuff in a different way, think about things differently, and be more efficient? So that's why this region, and that's why kind of the excitement of you being here gets me kind of going. So why now? You know, what is different about today versus any other day? And the reality is we're at an interesting time and place. We've got the XL pipeline conversation going on nationally, in particular down in DC. That's happening now. That's a real thing, whether you're for it or against it, being informed and having a point of view relevant. Marcellus Shale, we're at the corner of Maine and Maine here. 125 years potentially worth of energy under the ground. How one uses that, what impact it has to the air and the water as one takes that out of the ground, extremely relevant. But a lot of people paying attention to that issue, and in and around this region in particular. Across the bridge, New Jersey, nuclear power. For it, against it, it's 50% of the power that gets generated in New Jersey. So if we're against it, we need to find a different way of providing that kind of power for people. Photovoltaics cost dropped by half, and then half again in the last 4 years, proving yet again that we can invest in technology and make things happen appropriately. Water scarcity, weather patterns, big issues going on right now. Whether it's cold outside or warm, think about California, the drought, that's real. That is coming to the East Coast. The cost of water is going to go up, and that will make people pay attention even more. So kind of pivoting from resources to energy efficiency, fascinating stuff going on. That's what the EEB Hub continues to think about. The ability of a building to be more intelligent, to connect systems, lights, HVAC, with controls to monitor remotely, measure, verify, and then change behavior in a building happening now, real, connected to shades and light and air. Well, how does one do that? They connect technology to the person. So I don't know where my iPhone is. So, this thing, the ability to use it to change behavior. So whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac, or a BlackBerry. So where's Will? Will, raise your hand. Who else has a BlackBerry? There's like 2 people in the audience, 4, more than I would have thought. Technology, the ability to intersect behavior and technology and to modify that behavior to reduce consumption, that's kind of what we're talking about. Moving from there to food and home, how one brings food into the house, what it is, whether it's how it's grown, what's in the food, where it's sourced locally or regionally, very real. What we bring into our houses that some of us, personally, hadn't paid attention to before. So whether it's cleaners, whether it's soap, deodorant, detergent, all of that stuff goes into our houses, comes into our work environment, comes into the community. So where's it going, where's it come from? Those are the things that we're thinking about and should be talking about. And that's what this is about. It's kind of one person thinking about an idea, being willing to engage in the conversation, to have an informed point of view, and then converse with others, 845 others, who will then have their own points of view. And whether they're talking to their spouse, or their kids, or their loved ones, whether they're taking that idea into the workplace so that their employer is doing something a little bit different, whether that employer is then saying to the landlord, hey, what are you doing? Whether they're taking it to their place of worship to say, hey, why can't we do this a little bit differently, a little bit better? Or whether they're talking in the community, it's about the power of one, you individually. One person taking that idea, one day, one building at a time. And so that's what kind of gets me a little bit fired up and excited and happy to be here to talk to you and create this kind of thing. So who hasn't downloaded the app? Raise your hand, don't be shy. You've all downloaded the app. Yeah, I don't believe anybody here. Anyway, go on here, it's free. For you BlackBerry people, sorry, we'll deal with you later. Guidebook is the app, download it, hit Tristate. You will then see kind of the day unfold before you. It gives you the sessions, the speakers, bios, etc. We have a smorgasbord of stuff for you to partake in, whether you want to snack on it and stay for 5 minutes and go to something else, or whether you want to dine. We'll go with this food theme all of a sudden. It's all there. So there's water, there's roofs, there's parking, there's energy 101, there's fossil fuels versus renewables. We've got community stuff, food, we've got affordable housing, and we've got kind of what the built environment big users are doing. So please check stuff out. Partake in those sessions. Between the sessions, we've given you time to go. The speakers from the sessions will be available to you after those sessions in between. The vendor tables are open longer. Go, listen, learn, partake, ask questions, because that's what this is about. You guys asking questions, learning, and then being that kind of one person. So again, I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm tickled at the numbers, but I'm more tickled that you're with us today and that you're going to take it from here and use it to act. Don't just think, act on it. So with that as the imprimatur, we've got 2 speakers and a video, as Janet indicated. I've got a leading light locally who is, I don't want to say late to the party, but a little bit late to the party, but a very quick learner and catching up and has become quite a zealot in his own right. And then we've got an international rock star who runs kind of Office Depot's procurement internationally, talked at Greenville, dazzled the crowd, so we somehow got him to come back to not 25,000, but a mere 845, which is us. So Yamas, thanks for coming in, thanks for flying in. And then we're going to wrap it up with a guy who really sat in his office one day 15 or so years ago and said, there's got to be a way of doing this. This is, again, that power of one kind of thing, which is David Godfrey was the original thought leader. There's many others, but David was the one that put together the U.S. Green Building Council with a bunch of others. One person in their office saying, why can't we do this a little different? And look what that has spawned. This, Green Build, international movements, real stuff. So, David will be the last thing, and then we'll go to altar.